Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sedona International Film Festival, where we're celebrating our 30th anniversary. I'd like to thank our premier sponsor, Northern Arizona Healthcare, along with the restaurateurs, hoteliers, volunteers, who year after year support the Sedona Film Festival. Thank you so much, and we appreciate it greatly. And joining me now are these three beautiful ladies, and please introduce yourselves and your film, please.
I'll go. I'm Jennifer Sorensen. I wrote and produced, and I played the lead character up for When You Get Lost, playing on Saturday at 1 p.m. at the center, at the
Performing Arts
Thank
Center.
you.
I'm Michelle Steffes, and I was the director.
Okay.
And I'm Meredith Riley Stewart, and I was one of the producers.
Awesome. How did you guys meet?
Well, interesting. Meredith and I met in a dance class, and we started making movies together after that.
Not knowing each other, we're like in the industry, we just sort of
Yeah.
figured it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Meredith and I met at a mentorship circle through Women in Film.
10 years ago.
Yes, and then separately, Jennifer knows my husband. They were both theater majors at Loyola Marymount University, so he's been going to table reads for a long time for this. She worked on the script for a long time, and he was going to table reads and kind of giving notes and supporting. So he'd be filling me in on the script and how it was coming, and he's like, "It's getting really good."
And then you jumped in.
Yes, and then Jen thought of me to direct, and
Awesome.
and I knew of it, and then when I read it, I loved it.
Yeah. And you were telling me it was shot in.
It was shot, we did a road trip from Los Angeles to Whidbey Island in Washington, all up the Pacific Northwest coast. So the movie is a road trip movie, so we filmed it practically like that.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know what Whidbey Island looks like now, but when I was in college, my boyfriend was an electrical engineer and went there
Yeah.
when he graduated to work. So I got to go, and it was absolutely beautiful, but that was such a long time ago. I can't even imagine what it's like now.
Yeah, it's
Stunning.
still very beautiful, and but it's actually cool now. I don't know what it was but I grew up going there because my grandmother had a house there, so I've been going there since I was like 4 years old. And when I went, nobody knew what Whidbey Island was, and now people go there and like vacation, and I think it's so weird because
Yeah.
I mean, not weird because it's beautiful, but it was such a secret to me, you know?
Yeah,
It was my
and I
secret
probably
little
went there
island.
when you were 4,
Right.
so.
Right, so it was just us on the island, really.
It was just you,
Yeah.
and I probably ran into you.
Yeah, probably.
That's one of the things we're really proud about the movie, though, how beautiful it is. Going from LA all the way up the Northern California coast, through all of Oregon and through Washington. It really shows off the whole Pacific Northwest really, really beautifully, and we're really proud of that.
Yeah, our
Nice.
cinematographer, April Frame, has just an amazing eye. And so something that was beautiful, you know, sometimes I've been taking pictures here in Sedona. It's so beautiful. And I look at my camera and I'm like, it doesn't, I'm just gonna have to mentally know. And April was able to capture it as it actually looks. And it's just stunning, so.
I know, it is beautiful. When I started visiting Sedona, same thing. I would come here every 10 weeks and probably take pictures, the same pictures, like over and over and over. It didn't matter. And I was trying to capture it just like you said,
Yeah.
and I'm like, it just doesn't, I'd rather just sit there and look at it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
It's
we're planning
beautiful.
a hike this evening at sunset.
So let's set up the film because we have a clip, but just give us a brief synopsis of what the film is about, and then we'll take a look at the clip.
Sure. It's inspired by a road trip I took right before my dad died. It's about estranged sisters who travel up the Pacific Northwest coast, stopping at brewery to brewery. On the way, trying to have fun with it before they say goodbye to their difficult father before he dies.
Okay, so let's take a look at the clip.
Okay, thanks. See how beautiful it is?
You can now.
What are you doing on your road
Okay,
trip?
that,
I'm going to fix my family.
Alone?
No, I'm gonna go get Cammy.
Is he dead? Do you think this is a vacation? I'm not interested in some beer version of Sideways with my estranged sisters.
My father is dying. My sister's a bitch. I'm having a beer. When we get up there, he's going to apologize.
He is never going to apologize. This is not the direct route to Washington.
No, it's prettier, and it's only about a half an inch difference.
You're late.
I thought it'd be better if you just showed up. You'd see him, he'd see you, and then you'd remember how much you love each other.
I'm gonna need that pump.
Sir.
Ma'am, I'm gonna need the pump.
What do you mean you're gonna need the pump? Whoa, Mama needed a drink.
How do you feel when you look at that? I mean, I'm like, I can't wait to see it now.
I know, I was watching it, I'm like, we do love our movies so much, and I don't know if that's everybody's experience, but we love it so much, so I've watched that 100,000 times that I love it. I
And
think
just
it's
hearing the
great.
music, I'm like, oh, this is such good music. And it's like artists that we found and now we know, and like they've given us permission to use it, and they're excited about the movie. So it's really such a representation of how collaborative. Like the gas station attendant, that's our gaffer.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, there's Jake. It was great to just remember how wonderful an experience it was.
You know, that seems to be like a theme. Like everybody that I've been talking to for the film festival, and especially the team that shot 7,000 Miles when they were here, they basically said, like, working on a film, it becomes like a family to them, and everybody like loves being with each other, and it just seems like it carries on throughout. So did you experience that as well?
Yeah.
Sounds like.
I mean, that first trip, we actually shot it in 2 phases, and the first one was only 10 of us, including the 2 main actors. So yes, we were all very, very close, and yes, we love each other like a family, but there were moments, we all had our moments, but then it's like giving birth, you totally forget about those times, and then the second half, we had 15 people, which was so fancy, it was like luxurious.
Cushy, yeah,
That
exactly.
we had 15 people helping us, making the movie, but I think everybody who worked on it, because we were such a small group and so many people wore different hats, that we all are just so genuinely proud of, especially such a low budget that we made it for and what it looks like. People don't believe that we made it for what we made it for. So.
Awesome. And the two of you being friends, right, prior to and then doing the film, seems like you're still friends.
It seems like it.
Seems like we're married sometimes. That's how good of friends we are.
Yeah, I think at this budget level and at this like understanding of what it's gonna take, it was not any of our first movie. It was Michelle's first feature, but you had done many other like not directing, but other things in a feature. So we all knew what we were getting into at this budget level, and so I feel like I wouldn't do it again with people I don't love. Like for that kind of commitment, I've got to love the people I'm going to be hanging out with all day, every day. For no money, I better love the people I'm around, and that's the kind of spirit. I'm really glad that we all had that and still have.
It was also helpful too because I think that we were really creatively on the same page. I think we were really making the same movie, which feels like it would be a given, and it's not a given. And so I think the fact that we were just like kind of striving for the same aesthetic result really helped as we were going through parts that were hard.
And Jen, you said that the film was inspired by your father, by the relationship with your father, or what was happening. Is that pretty accurate?
Yeah, well, sort of by the relationship with my father, but more so I took this exact road trip right before my dad died. And as I was going on the road trip, I was thinking, because I'm always a filmmaker, I was like, this would be a great backdrop for a movie if I ever decided to make one. And so I was like taking notes and taking pictures as I was going on this cathartic trip up to go see my dad. And then after he did pass, I wrote a screenplay originally that was very much the same story as what happened in my real life, and it was too. It sent me right into therapy, and like it was just too much. And so I fictionalized a family, and I put sisters going up together because that was just more. As far as storytelling, more interesting that 2 people that were sort of at odds traveling together was more interesting than just one person having revelations. You know what I mean? So I fictionalized that, but I used the backdrop of what I experienced.
So even in doing that, do you feel like this film is cathartic to you in some way?
Yeah,
Also, even though
absolutely.
you fictionalized it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think any stories that you sort of take issues from your own life and get to sort of flesh them out, like what if this happened, or what if I got the chance to say this, what would I say, or what would I do, or what if somebody was challenging me in that way, how would that express itself? And so yeah, I think I did get I got to say things to my dad that I maybe didn't get to say in real life, or portray him and portray myself, or others in ways that, like, what if I was like this, or what if I actually am not like the main character that I play. I feel like I'm more like Cammy than I am like, so I got to write myself as a totally different person and have somebody else play that. But then I got to play a super fun, like, not unhinged. How would you describe June?
Yeah, I think she's very kind of driven by like her big heart, and she is sort of reckless in the ways that she tries to like make herself feel better. So that, like it's like this. What I think something that I was attracted to the character and to the story was because she is at the end of the day driven by love, but she can damage people on her road to get there.
I always say she has the biggest heart but the worst execution.
Yeah.
And I'll say, having screened it at another festival, and just for our crew and you know, friends who've watched it, that this theme of family and losing parents or interacting with adult siblings is just so universal, and almost to a person, you see your life in it, and so there is very much the connection to this world that is fictional and created, but it's very real.
Yeah, and there's underlying themes, right? So as you were talking, I was even just sensing like things in my own life, like, yeah, you know, it's true. You always think about like what would this be like if it was just a little bit different, but you get to play through it, so it's kind of cool just to see that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how can people find out about your film?
We have a website for whenyougetlost.com. We were also, please follow us on social media at For When You Get Lost on Instagram, and you can find us on Facebook that way. Distributors really like people following you. In our experience.
Yes, and that's our next step is working for that. And I just want to give a plug to like, besides people who already love the movie, our first festival we won the audience award for the best comedy. So people besides people we paid said this is a funny movie, this is a movie you'll like.
Yeah.
So we hope you know, that's something to be said about the enjoyment people will get out of coming to see our movie.
You actually paid people for that. How much?
All right.
Yeah, even though it is about loss and you know, complicated families, hopefully you will laugh. The biggest compliment I think we got was that guffawing through and sobbing is sort of like wraps up our movie, is that you will cry, I hope, you know, but you'll also laugh while you're crying, and so I think that makes the
Yeah. More laughter than tears.
more laughter. than tears,
Awesome.
yeah.
And then this show is going to be at the Sedona Performing Arts Center, 1 p.m. on Saturday.
Yes,
All
and
right.
it's very big, as we're told. So please,
Yeah,
please come. Because,
Yes, it is a very big theater, so
we're
there's lots of
nervous.
seats.
Yeah, it won't be sold out.
No, it will be sold out.
It will be sold out.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
No, you have to think that.
Okay. Okay.
We are manifesting. It will be sold out.
You're in Sedona, manifestation works, and you have to say, it will be
Yes.
sold out.
Okay.
All right.
All right, got it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Sedona
Thank you.
teaching. Thank you.
All right, and then meditation form. We will be back in just a minute, but first, before we leave, I want to remind everybody to follow us on Facebook. We're on Facebook Live, all of our interviews, and also if you're out there taking photos, don't forget to hashtag SIFF30. We'll be back with more filmmaker interviews shortly. Thank you.